All right, guys, we finally made it. This is season 3, episode 6, the season finale. Thank you for everybody who stayed with us this long. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster when you think about all the different topics we touched on this show. Thank you for all of our listeners on Spotify and everybody who's listening on Stitcher and any other audio platform you've been listening on. Thank you for everyone that's tuning in on YouTube and people who are actually taking the time to share the videos on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, big thank you to our sponsors, the Ministry of Ethnic Communities, Navigators, the Campfire Studios for providing this amazing set. And just everyone else who's been listening. We really, really appreciate you guys. So please tune in today. We have a special guest on our season finale all the way from Brazil. Can we believe that? All right, so let's tune in to listen to our guest. Okay, Ronaldo, all the way from Brazil. Okay, now I may need a little help with the pronunciation. Of course, I'm going to try. I always get points for actually trying to get this right the first time. Okay, you are originally from Sao Jose dos Campos, state of Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Nice try.
Damn.
Yes, so yeah.
Okay, you said.
I think it's going to sound better now. Sao Jose dos Campos. It's very hard, isn't it?
There was no way I was going to get that, man. No way I was going to get that. No way I was going to get that tongue word correct. Okay, Sao Jose dos Campos.
Nearly there. Yeah, I'll give you 95%.
Okay, fine. Okay. Ronaldo Correa.
Correa.
Oh, I did that wrong too.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. That's me.
Ronaldo Correa.
There we go. That's good. That was good.
You. Okay. Almost like the country saying it. It's almost like saying Korea.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah. Ronaldo Correa. Yeah. All the way from Brazil. And he's been there for 4 years and 7 months to be exact. So he's probably had a lot of things to talk about and a lot of unique perspectives. And that's what I want to talk about today. Now, you are the first person on the Immigration Status podcast to be from that part of the earth. We haven't had anybody from South America. I mean, not one. Thinking about it, we talked to a lot of people from all over the world, but we've never talked to anyone from that part of the equator. So that's
good.
That's cool, man. So I'm actually excited to get into this. So interested to hear how you ended up all the way in New Zealand. So why New Zealand? How did that happen?
Yeah. First, good evening. Good to be here representing South America. Welcome. Yeah.
Yes.
So New Zealand wasn't a choice. I would say it's a blessing. Yeah. I have been in Brazil my whole life, and I'm kind of love Brazil, my culture, and I'm patriotic, I would say. Didn't see myself moving out. And then I worked in a company that in projects. I work in construction. So we would do 1 year project and have intervals, like 4 months, 3 months intervals. And once we had quite big interval. It was like 5 months. They're like,
of not working?
No working. They would pay you though, which is good, but no working. They're like, look, the next project's going to start in 5 months. You have a break. Use your holidays. Once the holiday is gone, we pay you. But 5 months. And then my wife and I look for each other. We're like, look, let's go overseas. We don't speak English at all. Maybe it's a good chance to do an exchange. And then we went all the way to Perth, Australia. Which was quite cool experience, yeah.
Now, what year is this?
This was 6 or 7 years ago, I would say. 2015.
2015.
Yes, something about that, yeah. And we thought, okay, 2 months we can learn English and then just enjoy the country. And we realized it's not that easy.
I was like, wow. I mean, that's pretty ambitious.
Yeah, that was pretty ambitious, yeah.
2 months.
I think the YouTube lied to me, though. Sometimes you watch videos
YouTube
and people
does lie. They do lie.
think you learn quite fast.
I'm still trying to learn French right now, 19 years later. It's not the same.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to learn English after 8 years. So, yeah.
I'm still trying to learn English, and that's my only language. So, yeah.
So,
I get it.
Yeah, and when we got there, we realized, hey, we need more time here to learn English. And also, we love the place. It's just like first time we went outside of Brazil. We went to Argentina once for a holiday, but you cannot compare. It was totally different world. So the company called me 5 months later, hey, it's time to come back. And I was like, sorry, mate, I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
And then I resigned there from Australia. And I decided, okay, I will stay in Australia. This seems a good place. But again, the beginning, everything is like, it's beautiful. Australia is actually such a good place.
What you do in Australia?
Man, all sorts of things. I deliver flyers and mostly partying. But
Okay.
But I did work a bit in a painting factory, a powder coating painting factory, which was quite nice. Because I was looking for a job, I couldn't speak English, and a company called me. They talked for 2 minutes. I couldn't understand a word, but they said start. I was like, cool, okay, and then start. I was like, okay, where should I go now, eh? And look, after half an hour, they send a text message that confirmed the place and the job and everything. So it's good. When I got there, there was no Brazilians, no like South American, just South Africans and Aussies, and it was very good. So there, that the English started ramping up. So I stayed there for a year. Yeah. But I got some challenge with visa and start missing family. And I thought, look, I didn't come here to stay permanently.
Yeah.
And I saw people struggling with like residency and talk a lot about that. And I was like, man, what is that about? Like, yeah. And then I went back to Brazil. When I got back to Brazil, like, no, I will stay in Brazil. That's my place. I don't have to go through visa. After 3 months, I was like, nah, I cannot live in Brazil anymore after everything that I have seen.
Nah.
Yeah. Then I sent my CV for all over the world and prepared myself. I did my English test, IELTS, translate all my qualifications as a welder, welding inspector, did everything I had to do. Found a job in UK after 4 interviews. They canceled the job at the very last minute.
Nice.
But they said, look, but I have good news for you. We're going to introduce you to a partner in New Zealand. I was like, oh, yeah. We have a company called Trade Stuff that we work together with them. And if you want, we can introduce you to them. I was like, that's cool. And that's when I got a job and came here.
Yes.
Long journey, isn't it?
Very long journey. Very long journey, man. So with you, your immigration process will be fairly seamless because you actually you would have came on a work visa. Yes.
I came in a work visa.
Yeah. So it would have been more or less stressful. You already knew what it was because everything was based on your work contracts coming to New Zealand.
Not at all.
Okay, well, tell us about it.
Okay, so I got here with 3 years visa. And I knew how immigration worked a little bit because of friends in Australia. So I thought, man, I don't have to suffer here in New Zealand because of it anymore. I have 3 years of visa. I will prepare myself to apply for my residency and will be it. Easy peasy. I did the calculation, the points before I came to New Zealand. So I was ready. So when I got here, I needed 10 more points. I waited 1 year to apply for residency. When I turned 1 year in New Zealand, I applied. And I was like, that's going to be a walk in the park. And then they said 8 months would be the time to access my residency. It took 2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
Jeez.
2 long years. And in the middle of these 2 years, we had COVID. My wife got pregnant. I almost got
made redundant.
Made redundant. Yeah. So, I think it's not easy for anyone. I thought it would be easier. It seemed at the beginning, but was kind of a long journey. Yeah.
So why did it take so long?
I think I got unlucky because when I applied, started the backlog. So I applied, the website said 8 months to access. After 3 months, they moved to 14 months, and then it kept going. And no one would get my process. And then COVID came.
Oh, yeah.
Then it became a nightmare. Yeah. So when COVID hit, my company, they got a bit desperate, I would say.
Impossible at that point.
Yeah. And the funny part is my company said, look, Ronaldo, unfortunate, I might need to let you go because of COVID. We don't know what's going to happen. And I was like, my wife is 6 months pregnant, right? They're like, yeah, but there is not much we can do. But yeah, you can find another job. I said, okay. I called my immigrant advisor and asked her, hey, what's going to happen here? She's like, residency is not coming. You need to find a job in 30 days. And because we're in lockdown, I'm not sure if you're going to find a job in 30 days. So you actually might need to go back. So it was
unbelievable.
Tough.
Wow.
Was tough. Yeah, because we love New Zealand, man, since we got here. And
I was actually going to get to that. So at what point did you fall in love with New Zealand? I always ask everybody about the highlight, like what made you actually fall in love with this land?
First, I felt home. I would say nothing against Aussies, okay? I might live there one day.
Yeah.
But the place was amazing, but for some reason they didn't make like connections. And when I got here, I made a lot of friends, and I would say most of them like Kiwis and people from other like nationalities, and I had like a huge welcoming, and we made like good friends, and we start feeling like a sense of belong. I love the culture. I love the way they treat the culture here. They keep it alive, and the way they're respectful about life balance, about nature, about everything, and it's good. We felt like, yeah, that's the place to live, and also got involved to give back to the community. So I was trying to help at the church. I was doing like kids school.
Okay.
So which was very great experience, and great for the fathers to trust me and teach their kids, since I barely could speak. So was cool. Was cool. So
That's cool.
yeah, I felt that I belonged. Yeah.
Okay, and I know it's only been 4 years, but do you have any like lowlights or points that you maybe started to second guess your decision to come here?
Yeah, okay. First, after a while, like you're in love, you love the place, and then of course it's natural to start looking like things that it's not working quite well. And once COVID hit and we had the immigration problem, I realized that I had a feeling that I belonged, but I had no one to run for. I think it's beautiful. Government, they have a lot of programs that look after people, and which is great. But I felt as an immigrant, I got left behind on that. I don't have anyone to call. Hey, look, my situation, my mental health, my wife's distress, my kids coming. We are under like all this situation here. Like there's no one for you to call for support.
Yeah.
And then it reminds you like that you're an immigrant. That wasn't quite nice, to be honest.
You feel alone, man. It's definitely a real thing. Like you feel alone, especially like if you're really hitting something hard financially. If you're back home, you can just lean on family.
Exactly.
But here, you cannot lean on anybody at all, and it's as friendly as Kiwis are.
Yeah.
Still quite maybe I don't want to say like stick to themselves, but they mind their own business.
They have their life. Yeah.
They have their life.
Yeah.
They
agree.
They're not going to go out of their way to interrupt their normal scheduled routine to help you in your crisis that you should have planned for.
That's true.
So it's like, man, like they're not rude, they're caring, but it's like that they understand boundaries. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Kiwis definitely
have their boundaries.
And they're really good at those boundaries.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Like that loneliness, it hit. Even when you're dealing with you probably have a really good internal relationship. You and your spouse. Even when you fight with your partner, like you still don't have any. You can't just go.
I know.
You can't just go to your brother's house and just.
And it's crazy because I was trying to give security for my wife because we have a kid come. I was trying to tell her, hey, keep calm. Everything is under control, but definitely wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was not. It was not.
I was like,
control.
trust me, I got it. Nah.
It was an illusion. And New Zealand has a way of humbling you real quick. Like when you think you got it. But no, that's cool, man. All right. Moving on. So do you have any places in New Zealand, especially now we're going up in the Christmas season?
Okay.
Any places in New Zealand that you just really love to visit as far as holiday destinations?
Man, I have been to South Island, which is beautiful. Queenstown, man, that place
Queenstown
is like
cold though.
It's like a 4K image, like 3D. I don't know how to explain, but it's like
beautiful.
high definition, isn't it? Like
it's beautiful. It is beautiful.
Yes, it's a beautiful place. But again, I think I love Auckland. Auckland, because I came from Sao Paulo. It's 18 million people in Sao Paulo. It's a big city, buildings everywhere. But the reason I work in construction because I love building. I love construction, infrastructure, and I love it. When I got here, I thought, man, this place is just perfect. It's the right size. Not too big, not too small. It's just the right size. When I go to small places, like I went to Napier, I was like, that's nice. After 2 days, I was like, man, I'm desperate to see some buildings, see people. And so I would say I would spend most of my time in Auckland. Yeah. And what I love about Auckland is I started getting into sailing, for example, and it's 30 minutes you are on the water. You want to hiking and 45 minutes you're there, but at the end of the day, I can come back home, see the city, which is cool.
You are the first person in my life to ever say that Auckland is the holiday destination for you. Wow.
Man, love Auckland. Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say I love Auckland ever before. That is a first. And it's coming from your heart. I can tell you're sincere about that. Like, seriously? Wow. Yeah. I'm just shocked. Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's your answer. You're free to have that answer. I mean, I just never heard it before. But Auckland is, I think I'm going to have to sleep on that one and just think about it.
But just reflect about it. It's good. It's a good place.
Well, I was just moaning about it earlier today. I was just complaining about this earlier today to somebody, talking about, because somebody asked me, oh, what are you doing for Christmas, man? Any Christmas plans, holiday plans? And I was like, oh, I want to do something cool. I want to get an RV and I want to pack my family in in a mobile home and just, travel the rest of New Zealand and see stuff, My family don't want to do that. They just want to stay in the city. Oh, boring old Auckland. If we do this every year, we sit in the house and eat a whole bunch of food, drink alcohol, and watch a whole bunch of movies. That's all they want to do.
Perfect life.
I'm tired. It's the same in the city, man. Like, I don't know.
I have one comment on that. Because Kiwis, they have a culture of camping and go out and which is cool. But then, and that's why they don't like Auckland, I would say. Most of people don't like Auckland. But then you go most like with the flow. You're like, yeah, actually Auckland's bad. But if you stop to think about it, man, it's just great. Restaurants in the city. If you go to the Viaduct, that's such a beautiful place. And Auckland is an amazing city. Yeah.
I just need a while to be converted to this gospel that you're preaching at me. I just need a while for this conversion to sink in. I've never even, it's just, I am appalled. I'm shocked that you even, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just need a moment to calculate what you're saying. Maybe tomorrow morning, I'll wake up you know what? I'm just not there yet.
Not there yet.
I'm not there yet, man. I'm listening to you. I'm seeing you smiling, but
it's good.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't know why my family wants to stay here as well, and not living here. Living here is good. I'm talking about we have finally get a break. I'm taking a month off from work, and all they want to do is the same thing we did last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. Yeah. I don't know, but that's my problem, not yours. So, do you have any, on that note of Kiwis, do you have any Kiwiism that is something that's strange or not strange, but something something you just can't wrap your head around, something that you feel like is strange? Or funny, or whatever
funny.
It is.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I have a lot of Kiwi friends. I think because of the church, when we got here, we went to a Kiwi church and we made a lot of friends there. And I would say, half of our friends here are Kiwis. And we ended up learning how to deal with their culture and we love them. But two things that's quite funny. First, how they are so well planned for everything. Example, you're going to have a dinner. And we're going to have a nice dinner between 6:30 to 8:30. I was like, okay. So sometimes the dinner is actually quite nice. You're having such a good time, but you look at the watch, you're like, yeah, it's time. Yeah. And it's actually quite Oh, man.
Yeah, it's time.
You feel thirsty for another beer, you know what I mean? This could go more, but...
That is hilarious. Because I have been experiencing that for 8 years living here. They actually... Yeah, they really, really prompt, really on, and it's that schedule is real.
That schedule is real.
It's real, man.
Yes.
It's we're not going over. But in saying that though, I've experienced the other half of it as well, where you get people who go too far past the schedule, and then
Brazilians do that. Yeah,
you want to go home, and they won't let you go home.
I know.
They keep opening up more beers and they keep giving you more things and they're bringing out more games to play. And it's like, okay, I'm tired. I want to go home. Hey.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. But no, you're right. It is. It's funny. But you never meet anybody that's in between. It's either the Kiwi who is super plain, 6:30 to 8:30.
Yeah.
Especially at kids' parties. If it's
kids' party.
If it's a kids' party, if it's from 2 to 3, that is gonna be from 2 to 3. We are cutting that cake. All right? 15 minutes before 3, we're giving these goodie bags away and you guys are gone. That's it. But at an adult party, it's the same thing. But yeah, you're right, man. That is actually pretty funny. Another first that I haven't heard yet. on this podcast.
Yeah, no, that's quite funny. And the second one is about shaking hands or hugging or this.
What do you mean?
In Brazil, we're quite friendly, I would say, and we shake hands and we hug. And I feel here they are very like reserved. So I had a couple times that I was like with my hand waiting here, and they're like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And I was like,
"Gave you the head nod."
Right, yeah.
Gave you the consecutive head nod. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, that's a thing too.
And they're very good friends now for 4 years. And then I thought like, because the first time when that happened, I was like, they didn't like me. That must be the reason. But no, that's the way they are. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and it takes a while to understand that, hey, this is just the way Kiwis are. Don't take offense to it. I took offense to it in the first year, 100%. But then it's just like, nah, this is just their way.
Yeah.
And then once you stop fighting with that, you don't get offended anymore. You don't get your feelings hurt anymore. It just is what it is. Do you have any immigration hacks or tips that you want to share with people who are thinking about moving over?
Yes. First, I totally motivate people to make this move. I just believe people should be ready. Because I was ready, and even though I had some obstacles, but good that I was ready because everything worked well at the end. But if for some reason I wasn't ready, like in terms of qualification, in terms of anything,
the English as well.
So if for any reason I wasn't ready, and then I would miss out. Yeah. So you should be ready. Check, recheck again, research, and be ready. I have seen people going home and they complain because things are difficult, but they're actually not ready. And so I don't think it's hard, but if you're ready, it's going to happen eventually.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ronaldo. And that actually concludes our first session on this. Thank you.
That's cool. No worries. Thank you.
All right, Ronaldo. This has been really engaging, really informative, really educational. And I just want to thank you again for being on. So in this the second part of the show here, I entitled it A Whole New World. And I think you've already kind of illustrated perfectly why I entitled it A Whole New World, because for you, it's definitely been a whole new world. But I definitely want to, and I think for all people who travel over here, all expats or immigrants, however you want to classify or identify yourself, and saying, for everyone who's chosen to move from their home country to a new country, this time New Zealand, it's going to be a whole new world. This time we have somebody from Brazil, and Brazil is a place that's definitely on my bucket list. I want to go there for numerous reasons. I mean,
don't tell Carnival you're married now.
Well, Carnival definitely comes to mind, but it's not just Carnival. I've seen the beaches and like the sports culture, and it's just a lot of stuff that I want to experience firsthand during the beach and the weather. Just want to go there and see some things. But just wanted to know, like, this is getting to like contrasting. What are some of the main differences between New Zealand and Brazil? Now, I know that's a pretty wide, vague question, so we'll go through 3 topics on it, and you can just give me briefly like on those 3 topics. So let's start with the economic basis. What is it like? Because I know here it is a fair distinction between, you know, first class, middle class, lower class, but it's at the end of the day, even the lower class, what we would classify as lower class, is still pretty well off. Even the people who are supposed to be lower class. Yeah. And I'm seeing, like I say, what I mean is I'm seeing, you know, I work in recruitment. I'm seeing general laborers driving BMWs. Somebody came to my office the other day, and I was just like, how is it that you are driving a car this is better than mine? I just didn't understand. Like, you know, this is somebody, no qualifications, no education, no real skills, but yeah, they're driving a Beamer. So we're still in a first world country. So I'm curious to know what is it like, the economic status in But a general economic status in Brazil.
Yeah, I agree with you. There is a stability and equality here, which is beautiful to watch. If you're keen to work, if you do labor job or you work at McDonald's, if you work hard, you're gonna drive a BMW. You're gonna do okay for yourself. In Brazil there is a huge distance between from someone like that is poor. They're very poor.
So the gap is wider. It's a wider gap.
Yes. So, for example, the reason I study for welding inspection, I love welding, and I was a welder, and I love welding itself, to perform the weld. But my father told me, look, a welder is making, let's say, $2,000 a month. Welding inspector make 10 to 12. So we're looking for 6 times more. And then it is a huge gap. If you go for the managers, they make, let's say, $20K a month. And if you go for the labor, he's make $800. So it's massive, the gap that we have.
$800 a month.
Yeah, it's a rough.
How is the wait? Okay, so how's the rent? The renting situation? If you're making $800 a month.
Honestly, if you try to calculate, you're never gonna figure out how Brazilian people live. Because then it doesn't match. It's
$800 a month.
Yeah, and let's say I'm trying to get on the currency here, but. Okay, let's imagine the same currency, right? Like someone makes their 1,000 a month nowadays. It's the same currency, and the rent is 500. And then their grocery is like 300 to 400, and then they have the other bills to pay. So it doesn't match. So for that, the family helps someone that got a bit more money. They share the house, they share the rent, or they do work the weekends, or they sell something else. They do like side hustle. Or they do manicure or like whatever it takes to pay the bills. So, but yeah, they need to definitely hustle to survive.
So as you know, here in New Zealand, there's a huge emphasis on the government helping people and financially with the benefit here.
Yeah.
What's it like there? What's the welfare system like there?
We have some help. But it's quite low. Let's say $200 a month or $300 a month. It's very low.
Wow.
But can I tell you something? I do agree with that part. I don't agree with the wage being too low. I do not agree because it's so hard for these people to make a living working. But if you do not work, I do agree with that. Because this makes people work. Makes people understand, okay, we have this help for the government, but definitely it's not enough for anything.
Yeah.
So we do need to get something done. And I think it keeps people moving, to be honest. But sorry, it's quite polemic. It's just my opinion about that. It's like I work it quite hard, and I didn't come from a rich family or whatever. I have to work hard. I started when I was 13. And my father
started working when you were 13?
13.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
My first welding ticket as a welder was 15 years old.
How old are you now?
That? I'm 30. So when I send my CV here, I'm 30 years old with 17 years of experience.
So you know what you're going to be? You're going to be one of them old guys. You're going to be one of them old guys that's always talking down to the young guys about their work ethic. Like, I started working when I was 13 years old.
Yeah, I think I'll be that grumpy, yeah.
I had my first boat when I was 14.
Actually, I bought last year, 29.
Okay, so what about the education? So education, what's the difference?
So yes, education, the public education is quite poor. And for example, we don't learn English there, which I think would be good idea to learn, or Spanish or any other language. I feel the government in Brazil try to keep you there. We have a lot of factories, and one advantage for the government to make money is get international companies, American companies like car manufacturers, and we have the labor, right? But one way for us to keep the labor is keep people there. I have a feeling that if they teach you too much, and you might not stay there to do the labor job. And so I think the education is just enough. Yes, that's the feeling I got when I was there, to be honest.
That's some deep stuff. So you're basically saying there's an agenda to keep people limited in what they know.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that is that through and through from the basic level of education all the way up to the universities?
Yeah. For example, university, you need to we pay a lot for university. For example, university there is $2,000 a month. But if you're making 1,000 or 1,200, how are you gonna pay for the university? The student loan there is like a house loan. You pay 80% or 7% of interest, and you need to have a good job to prove that you can pay that as well. So it's actually quite tricky. I didn't go to university. I did.
That's because you were too busy working.
Yeah, something like that. But I wish I could go.
No, man, you've done well. You've done well.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you about the general cultural basis, like if you were to compare Kiwi culture to general culture.
Yes.
Brazil.
That's something that I miss quite a lot. Because I think life is is hard there for Brazilians if you see it in an economical way. But on the other hand, they make their way to happiness somehow.
Yeah.
People have a huge hope. They seem happy. They seem always like hopeful for brighter days and always fighting. And that culture, that environment, it moves you quite well. Like, yeah, which is cool.
You don't feel that's the same here?
I just feel small problems get people quite down easily. I feel we're not here ready to deal with issues because everything is quite cool. So when something goes wrong or something is not going well, people go down quite easier in terms of the mood or the happiness. They get, frustrated a bit easier, I would say. And there, people are so used to struggle, so...
they're more grateful.
Yeah, they're actually grateful for every day when small things go right, and that's why my father used to say, like, if we get $10 for everyone here, we can do a barbecue, have drinks, have fun, and that's all we need. We don't need more than this. Tomorrow is another day. We see what happens tomorrow.
That's actually pretty cool, yeah.
So it's pretty cool, yeah. So every Sunday we would have lunch as a family. Sometimes we had a lot because we're making a lot. Sometimes we had pretty much nothing. But the happiness was there, both situations, like we were laughing from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think that's what you bring, even as you're sitting here talking, like you bring that flavor here to New Zealand. So thank you for doing that, man. That's awesome. The crime, is it really what people say it is? Because I've heard they've made movies about it, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Is it really like that?
The movies is quite scary,
yeah.
It is, but not everywhere. It's quite crazy, but there's huge difference. You go for a rich neighborhood, it's safe. You seem you're in another country. It's good, the infrastructure, no crimes, you feel safe. And then if you go for like a very like dangerous place, it's actually very, very dangerous in a way that cops wouldn't take the chance. And yeah, it's like the movies, but not everywhere like that. People start getting the picture. It's like carnival. Everyone thinks like, oh, all over Brazil is going to be like this now. You go for a specific place. And the same for crimes. But in saying that, small crimes, it does happen quite a lot. And I think I don't like much the way we have guns. Is way too many guns.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah.
Someone come to get your bicycle, which is okay. The guy's stealing your bicycle. But then he comes with a huge gun. And like, I want your bicycle. Now he's shaking because he's on drugs. And that's quite scary because any wrong movement you do, like, your life is gone right there.
I saw a documentary on it one time and I was just like, man, like I thought Chicago was bad. Like this is like...
No, it's bad. Yeah.
Really,
I got trapped
really
twice
bad.
On that. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. And simple thing. Guy came to steal, one time was my bicycle and one time was in the company that I was working, which is fine. But then I didn't understand what he was asking about. Like, oh man, why you want on my bike? He's like, you think I'm joking? Then he came with a gun and shaking, and that's harsh because you think my life is on the line here for any wrong move or any wrong word in here, it's gone. Yeah. So that's not a nice feeling. Yeah.
So obviously you gave him the bike.
Oh, yes. I didn't want to argue anymore.
Man. Okay, so what are some of the similarities? So we talked about the differences. What are some of the similarities that you've seen? Now, I mentioned family and sports, but you don't have to go with those. I mean, is there any other similarities? Yes. Those are the similarities that I've seen.
Man, in sport, I would love to have more football here, but yeah, I start to learning.
Well, it happens a lot
rugby
here.
Though, yeah.
A lot of people are into football here.
Like, yes. I think he's getting more into it now, yeah.
Like, definitely my boss is into a lot of people are into it. I've never really been into it myself, so I really don't. I just sit quietly when people are talking about it, but a lot of people are into it, like big time. For me, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that those are the two big sports here, like that and rugby. Like, and then of course I think cricket is right behind it. But I think between people watching soccer. Well, I call it soccer, football for you.
Yeah, that's very offensive. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it's because in America,
it's in America you have your own football. Yeah,
we have the real football. No, no, it's it's pretty big, man. Like, so that definitely football and rugby, but by all means, please tell me what are some of the similarities you've seen.
Okay, similarities. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Like I mentioned, family. Like from what I can see, from what I've researched about Brazil, like as you already mentioned before, it's huge family culture. Like big on family, really, really big on family legacy. I've noticed that across the board, both in New Zealand and from looking at South American culture in general. Like just that big culture about family.
Yes, I think family. And I think about enjoying life as well. You see Kiwis going to the beach and you see them hanging out, doing their barbecues and everything, which is very cool as well. So I think the leisure time is actually very, very similar. Yeah. Of course, their own way, but they love leisure time. They value that quite a lot. And family, they do have a great value for that. Which is very similar, yeah. It
seems to be the strongest thing about this culture. Everything is about quality of life. Like everything is about that's, and when you listen, even when you listen to like Kiwi people talk, everything is about quality of life. It's what are you doing this weekend? You know, what are you doing when you get off work? What are you up to? What's new in your life? What's happening with your family? And it's the quality of life. What are you up to? This and that. What's happening? It's that type of thing. It's superficial conversation, but actually it's not superficial when you think about it. Yeah. Because those are the things that make people happy. Yeah. Like, and people want to talk about the things that make you happy. I've noticed that happens a lot. Like people want to, what makes you come alive? What's the fire coming from? And it always comes back to family. End of the day, it's like, oh, I was with my daughters at this and this and that, or I'm with my wife and we're doing this and this and that. I took my kids to, it always generates around family.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Because, usually in Brazil, we will talk about work quite a lot.
Work.
What are you doing for work? What's your career? Why are you growing? And where are you going? Yeah. And here, they just pretty much don't care. Like, as long as you're paying your bills, what are you doing at the weekend? Like, what's your hobbies?
Huge difference. Same thing in America. Like, everything is around work. Where you're working, how long you're working.
Yeah, where did you study?
Where did you study? Where'd you go to school? Where you working? Like I said, those two things make up who you are. Whereas here, it's always about everything else.
Yes.
What's happening? What are you up to on the weekends? What do you do? What do you get up to? Hey, me and my family is going to the beach. Would you guys like to come out? We can do a big picnic together.
Exactly
that type of stuff. And those are the type of things that I definitely appreciate about New Zealand, like overall, because it just makes you really, really appreciate this place. But definitely the sports culture. Yeah.
Yes. No, I do. Yeah, I do love that.
The sports culture, it's a legit similarity between the two nations. I would say, because they go all in, man. They go all in for this.
If you see the way, man. I was impressed because we don't have much rugby in Brazil, and people love it here. And
love it.
Love for sports. That's something. Yeah, you can tell it's very.
I just played my first rugby touch game the other day.
Oh my gosh, you're brave. Yeah.
I made history, man. I made history. There's been no African American people and several bloodlines, several generations to play rugby in my family. I made history, man. And like that day, they were making fun of me. I was with my coworkers. They was like, man, why are you out here in gray sweats? And I was like, they was like, do you see anybody out here in gray sweats? And I had these little black shorts on. And I was like, no, I don't see anybody out here with gray sweats. But can I ask you a question? Do you see any other black people out here? And they were like, no. I was like, okay, cool. So let's keep going. Let's continue on with this, because it's not going to affect how I play. And it didn't. It didn't affect how I played, Okay. So I played wing that day. I didn't do any tries. Okay. I didn't score any tries, but...
For some reason, I asked my friends if I could play. They're like, you better stick to soccer. I don't know. They just look at me and I think they might be right.
You can play touch, though.
Yeah,
surely you can play touch.
Touch should be all right. Should be safe.
Yeah. You can play touch. It'll be all good. But look, if is anything else you want to add?
Yes. Just in New Zealand and New Zealanders, I would say like a big thank you. New Zealand is a place that I feel home. People open the door for me. Even we talk about sometimes superficial, but I made some deep, like relationships here. I would say some very good friends. When I was in hardship, I had a Kiwi friend that sent me an email with his Pack and Save login and password, and it's like, hey, shopping and do whatever you need, just don't even ask.
Wow.
And I was actually quite surprised because I wasn't expecting that. So sometimes it's just the way they are, but when I need it, they're there for me. So yeah, a huge thank you. Yeah,
man, they definitely always fill the gaps where needed. But look, I appreciate you coming on and being a part of our very special season finale of the Immigration Status podcast. And yeah, man,
pleasure to be here, man.
We really, really appreciate you and we appreciate your story and sharing about your culture. All right?
No worries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we have reached the end of the road. I want to thank you guys, man. I really, really appreciate this. This has been a huge milestone in my life personally, and also just been amazing. I want to thank the crew. I want to thank Guy, Will, Joe, everybody that's put this together, our whole Immigration Status team. Thank you to Uranga. Thank you to Navigators. Thank you to the Ministry of Ethnic Communities, and of course the Campfire Studios. And I thank all of you guys who have been watching and listening this whole time. And I hope that this goes as far as it can go. I mean, obviously a big dream for me is to get this on Air New Zealand. And so hopefully we can get this on Air New Zealand and get it so people can see it as they enter New Zealand for the first time. If not, then just get it circulating online as much as possible. Keep sharing the videos. And yeah, just keep supporting online. We may be back next year, but we'll see. But in the meantime, you could head to the Uranga website. There's merchandise available still. We have Bluetooth speakers and we have wireless chargers, and some other things as well, t-shirts and hoodies. If you want any of those things, you can contact us from the Uranga website. But other than that, I want to thank you just from the bottom of my heart. I'm Myron Turner signing off. This is the Immigration Status Podcast, Season 3, Episode 6. Until next time, see you again.